Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Amanya nedobozi nze Ibrahim Mukasa nkwanirizaako ku Extra Digest mugoba nsonga YouTube channel yaffe, our online channel, eranga tutunulira abantu abalina legacy in all spheres of life. Olunaku olwaleero tukyaliddeko Professor Kanyeihamba, former minister, former judge, gwe tulina olunaku olwaleero era nga wotulabira wano tuli mu makage e Buziga. Tuli basanyu nnyo nti atukyazizza nakkiriza okunyumyamu naffe on camera. Bannayuganda bawangalira emitala w'amayanja, mubadde mumperezanga emails ne messages nga muŋŋamba tuleetere ku Professor Kanyeihamba, era ndi so honored and humbled to have him on the show. Tugenda kuba tutabika ennimi, tujja kwogera oluzungu, oluganda n'olukiga. Bwe kiri Professor?
Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Professor, nkwanirizaako ku show, nsaba obuuze ku bannayuganda abatulaba mu Uganda and across the whole world.
Mwena bandaba nabampuliriza balamukiza nnyo, ate ndina essanyu nnyo kwogera namwe ku bintu ebifa ku nsi yaffe, eggwanga lyaffe ya Uganda. Nze banyita Professor George Wilson Kanyeihamba, kati nakafuna myaka 82 last August egyewaddeko, naye emyaka nga nkaaga yonna n'okusingamu ngakolera eggwanga lyaffe. Aye nga omusomesa, nasomesa e Makerere, nasomesa mu Rural Development Center, weakyalinga Samizi, nensomesa mu ssomero lya bulijjo nga mbuddemu eri, nabeerako omusomesa omwaka, ne tufaanira essomero lya Sesame Girls School. Bwe namala nengenda e Bungereza, nasomera mu university za Bungereza, muli mu London, muli mu Warwick, nenfuna za degree zonna, bachelor, master, PhD, Doctor of Laws, zonna nazifuna. Nina degree 5.
Doctor, njagala kusooka na kuyozayoza ku birthday esembyeyo ey'emyaka 82. Katonda yebale kukuuma.
Mwebale kunsabira.
Yebale kuwa buwangazi n'okuwa obwongo.
Ate bya Katonda byonna.
Kubanga Katonda yabikola w'amaanyi nnyo.
Kyekyo.
Doctor, nja ku addressing nga professor, nga doctor, nga justice. Oli comfortable
Oba Uncle George.
Oba Uncle George. So, bwe mba nkuyise kyenkuyise kyonna mukama wange.
Tofayo.
Neyanza nnyo neyanze ge taata wange omulungi. Kakati, mu mbeera ffe gye tulimu, generation yaffe eno, aba ekyasa ekyenkumi the 20th and 21st century, birthday bwetuuka tuyina celebrations ze tukola. Abantu basala keki, bapopinga champagne, bakola ebintu bingi nnyo, they go to clubs, dancing and many others. Professor, birthday eno esembyeyo wagicelebrating otya?
Omukyala wange n'abaana n'abazzukulu bali e Bungereza. Omukyala wange yalwala.
Sorry.
Ali kumpi n'omusawo e Bungereza. Naye abaana balina omanyi bwe twagenda nga batugobye mu nsi eno, bali bankwata. Bw'osa ekitabo kino ekifa ku bulamu bwange, ojja kusanga nti naakava mu Uganda nga nduka emirundi 2.
Nga bakuwaŋŋangusa.
Ogwokusooka n'adduka 1971, Amini gwe yajjamu. Naali nga mpandiise ekitabo ekisookayo bakiyita Constitutional and the Government in Uganda. ku page wa 389 nenyogera nengamba nti nankani education yaba yafuna teyagala babeere mu cabinet office babayigira babeere mu barracks nti ba military officers tebalina buyinza kutufuga nenkyogera mu 1971
openly. Yes.
Editor wange yali nankani East African Literature Bureau. Editor nanyita nagamba nti omanyi nti oli mu byo bya Amin katukije mu ekyo
ngayagala you edit out that part.
To edit out that part. I say leave it there. Tokijamu kubanga nze Katonda ambulidde nyogere ekyo ate n'abantu baffe bakimanyi kiva kontya oyagala nyogera nankani litali byamazima obulimba nakirekamu. Waliwo oyakisoma sijja kumwogera erinnya
akyali mulamu
yali femi twali nga tusomesa Makerere nga tukatandika isomero lyaffe ly'amateeka department ya law nakiwandiikawo mu government paper bali nga bagiyita Agasi n'agamba nti Kanyeihamba ayogedde nti aba military tebamanyi kufuga tebyobufuzi babivemu kale ne batandika kunoonya Kanyeihamba ono yaani ekyampa omukisa balabe erinnya Kanyeihamba naye tebayinza kuntako ekifaananyi
erinnya balitegeera naye ng'omuntu tebamumanyi
bamanya nti nsomese e Makerere. Ekyokusooka basooka ne beeyita mukulu wa university baali bamweta Frank Kalimuzo musajja mukambwe ennyo yali nga yasooka nga the first civil servant mu colonial time. Bagamba nti waliwo omulenzi abeekabaale bamuyita Kanyeihamba George batugambye nti yagenze nayimba abaana n'abagamba nti bamilita tebamanyi kufuga nakiteeka no mu kitabo tumwagala wano tumubuuze otubuuzo. Omanyi Kalimuzo kyeyakola naali nga ndi mu kiraasi gwali lwokuna njukira
oli mu kulecturinga
n'agamba omukarani we secretary genda ogambe Kanyeihamba aje wano kati
lecture neeyimirira
nemugamba nti ndi kumpi kukumala. It was about 3:30 in the evening, in the afternoon. Nti mugambe nti ndi kumpi kumala bwenamala anindeko nja kumusanga mu office omumala bonna baaliwo ba students agambe nti oje kati
at such a tone,
excited
at such a tone.
Then I realized nti ekintu kino kintu kikulu kangende nengamba abaana nti abaana mubiwulidde katulekerawo nja kubalaba next week kubanga lwali lwakuna nja kubalaba next week nengenda ow'omwami Frank Kalimuzo mu office ya principal baali bamweta principal ennaku ezo tebaali nga bamugamba vice chancellor naye mulimu gumu nangamba ti tombuuza bibuuzo byonna va wano gende eka
olwakugoba
gende eka gwe n'omukyala we mukoma akasanduko katono n'omwana we nalina omwana omwawe tubawadde tiketi mugende Nairobi tombuuza bibuuzo byonna mugende.
So toyina kye wayogera kyonna?
Nze naamanya nti ndi kubi Amini yali nga abantu batandika kufa n'okubula babula tebalaba nemanya nti this is very serious. Ati gwe nja kujayo na vice chancellor nankani secretary wa university baali omwami bamweta Asafia Wandira tujja kujja ubu tukutwale gwe n'omwana we n'omukyala we tubatwale ku airport bwe bakubuuza ogambe nti ngende Nairobi kukola shopping n'omukyala ntujja kudda ku Sunday bampa tiketi egende Nairobi return ticket olwo abasirikale baamini nga banoonya
naye erinnya balimanyi naye face
tebamanyi face.
Okay, that is very good.
Kale omwami Kalimuzo yajja nga sawa I think planes ziba entebbe nga zigende in Nairobi it was taking off about 5:30 or thereabouts
PM.
Ne bagiye wange nali nga nsula kalolo nze n'omukyala n'amubuulira naye tenamubuulira ensonga naye mugamba nti waliwo omuntu atuwadde a complimentary ticket
tugendeke Nairobi
tulabe nali nayo mukwano gwange yali chief immigration officer wa Kenya bamuyita James Mutwa nti tugende wa Mutwa kumalayo weekend today
omukyala nakkiriza
netugenda nze naye nze nga ntya naye sitya muntu wena kujja ku Katonda
toyina muntu gw'otya okujjako
Katonda yekka kale bwe twatuuka ku airport vice chancellor bamumanyi ne bamutya ati lecturer waffe
agenda ku Nairobi kuwummula shoppinga
emmotoka eyafudde nze muleese ne bamutya ne bakkiriza ku abo mpo abakkiriza abantu kubiyitamu ne banzikiriza n'omwana tulina tikiti emwe return ticket kuva Nairobi ne tugenda kale bwe twatuukayo ne ntuuka Nairobi nankani nali nkubidde Mutwa nti njya eyo kumala weekend nze nali mmanyi nti simanyi ekintu ekiriwo bwe natuukayo n'agamba nti tufunye message eva wa vice chancellor wo
principal
nti bw'otuuka wano tukuyambe batuwadde ne sente z'okugulira tiketi n'omwana we n'omukyala mugende e Bungereza.
Ekitegeeza principal oba vice chancellor ye yakugamba ogendako Nairobi naye nga literally oyina kuyita mpaka Bungereza
nga ngenda Bungereza.
That was your first time in exile?
That was my first time in exile.
Okay, tugende maaso doctor.
Then kamale bino eby'exile.
Yeah.
Sinadda mu Uganda kujja ku 1979.
So you returned in 1979?
Okay. When Amin fell from power, kale mukama wange Yusuf Lule nafuuka president Rais w'e Rwanga. Najja naye byonna biri mu story yonna ebyafaayo byonna biri mu kitabo kyange ekyo The Blessings and the Joy of Who You Are. Ekitabo kiri wano. Nenfuuka ekyokusooka Minister wa Justice and Attorney General.
That is in President Yusufu's regime?
In the Lule's time.
Yeah.
So I was the first ever Attorney General and the Minister of Justice in the Lule's government.
Yeah.
Naye omanyi government yaffe teyamalamu bbanga nnene. Bwe twali awo military commission ne UPC ekulembedde omwami Paulo Muwanga ne batujjamu
ne babawamba
ne batuwamba nze abaministers abasinga obungi baali nga batuhausinga mu Nile Mansions
currently Serena Hotel
yeah twali awo Museveni yafuuka deputy minister mu government empya eyatujjako
olwo deputy minister wa ministry ki
ya defense
okay
n'ateekako enankani ekirango nti abo bonna babadde basaabinga lule babeere mu maka gabwe temuvaayo tujja kubakuumirayo bwe yakyogera nso
olwo ekirango kino akiyisa ku radio Uganda okay
Museveni ali junior minister
state minister in other words
kale bwe yakola bwatyo waliwo n'ekiramuza kukisanga mu kitabo ye nange nali omanyi nali minister wa justice na attorney general mulule twali nga tuteesezza Museveni nange tugende nankane Dar es Salaam State House tusabe nankane tusabe President Nyerere
mwalimu Julius Nyerere
atwedembe kubali bali nga balumba rude ne government nga bagala kujijako ne tuteesa kangende naye kale yagenda nti kangende ndeti charter the plane nga tumulinze teyajja
olwo mwami Museveni kati President Museveni abagamba ebiseera ebyo tikagenda aleta chartered plane abatwale Dar es Salaam
government wamu nze ndi minister of justice and attorney general ya ali junior minister
for defense
naye tumanyi nti asemba lule nange nga twamusemba omanyi yali mumyuka wa lule kale nankani babiyita gang of 4 n'abala bakola plan kutujamu netukimanya netuteesa nze kangende ne Museveni Dar es Salaam tusabe mwalimu kubanga abatanzania bali nga bafuga Uganda bibali nga balabirira President Lule byonna nga babikola polisi zonna zetwakozesa mu nnaku za Lule zaali za Nyerere yali de facto president wa Uganda kale neninda
olinda nnyonyi
nga nina nyonyi
oli agenze kuleta nnyonyi
yagenze kuleta sinabulaba
teyakomawo
teyakomawo bwe nali awo omwami bali bamwita Sinabulya James Sinabulya yali secretary private secretary wa Lule nanzita nga ndi munankani waliko olukubiri ndowooza olwo kusatu ndi mu Nile Mansions ati attorney general tuli mu buzibu nti ki ati waliwo abali mu kakiiko ako ka consultative council baleese resolution egamba nti tebalina confidence in Lule bagala bamujeko
kumwimpiichinga
tumanyi bakikola mu security ati ojangu tuyambe ati kubanga gonya amateeka uyo attorney general ojoze mu kakiiko obo oyambe president ati bamujamu nenkubira esimu driver wange yajja nenkubira my bodyguard nti jangu tugende Entebbe kati bwe twatuuka ku nankani ku gate ya Nile Mansions abalinzi baayo baali ba Tanzania bamaji ne bangana
okufuluma bagamba ddayo munda
nengamba nti basibo ndi mukama w'amateeka Uganda attorney general mukama waffe president Lule ataddeko ngendeyo katikati
ampise
waliwo olukiiko lukulu lubeerayo ngendeyo kati
ne bagaana
instructions zaffe sigamba neyakubadde Katonda temukiriza abigo wano oba ayingire
nga baali bakambwe nnyo
kale bwe bakola bwe batyo bwe twateesa ne tugamba ku simu tugambe Museveni agendeyo na Kanyeihamba Attorney General
Minister wa Defense agende ne Attorney General
bapulidingi na Nyerere bino ebikolwa bya Pablo Mwango na gango bufo bibeko omanya bali gango bufo
mwali nani
mwali mu Lugumayo mwali mu Wangola Nabudere and Professor Yashtandon. That's the gang of four.
Okay.
President Yashtandon katali mu Uganda. Yalinga ali refugee mu Zambia. Naye maze kwogera naye ku nakani ku simu angamba nti akolera mu office ya Prime Minister wa Uganda kati.
Wali wane Kampala?
Ali wane Kampala. Yadda bade sishimanyi.
Yakukubira simu.
Nze namukubira.
Okay.
Ya wandika New Vision.
Oh.
Ngayogera ku bya communist na Museveni ye yava nenchi. Nze ndowooza ntawandikira Zambia.
Olowooza asinzidde Zambia kumba ali Kampala.
Kale bwe nabo agamba nti nze nkola mu Prime Minister's office. Nze nalowooza ntakola mu Prime Minister's office ya Zambia. Kale nashenyuuniza nembuuza omuntu omulala. Nti omanyi Yashtandon nti namulabye atukoye yabadde mu monitor nti yagiwandikize Lusaka nti ebawa
oba Kampala
azali wano oluvannyuma nenyogera naye tanabakundaba naye nja kumulaba ndo
but you are in touch on phone
mubuuze kubanga kyengenda kwogerako nga tuvudde awo kintu kikulu mbadde ndi ku
Yashtandra
ne banganya kuva munankani
bagana okuva mu Nile Mansion abamaje
be Tanzania
bagamba ne wabeera Katonda
tayinza kuyingira ne yakubadde Katonda tayinza kufuluma kale gwe ne banda tolina Katonda nekisooka kale nentuula bwe tubanga tupulaninga tugende Tanzania nze ne Museveni tupleading
ne government ya Tanzania
na bambulira nti Museveni bamufunye agenze kuno senayogera naye naye batwali nabo bagamba nti akiriza agenze kubukinga charter plane ebatwale nti kale nentulinda nabula naye that evening nibateekako ku mawulire Radio Uganda nti nakubuulidde owasooka kumbulira ye James Senabulya Baleti ne bangana kugendayo sanga bbiri aweze ekiro ne bagamba nti nankane ebisemu resolution Constitutional Council
the resolution about impeaching your government
no removing Rule nti Rule kati tashali chairman wa UNLF
bamujjemu
obwesigwa ate bakujjemu obwesigwa nga chairman wa NLF nobwa president
buba bukuvuddeko
nti kati badiscussinga aja kumusikira basooka ne bagamba nti Lugumayo Edward Lugumayo ye favorite candidate naye bamuvako kubanga bagamba tujje kumwe Muganda twagala tuteeka kumwe Muganda kyeba Museveni ne bagamba nti kata anoonya nankani Binaisa
olwo mwami Museveni anoonya mugenzi Binaisa
so ndowooza nga ebyokugenda e Tanzania yabivako
n'akyusa olutambi
n'akyusa n'agenda ku ludda abagala lulavemu
ate yakyuka n'ava mu gavumenti ye n'addamu ate erimu kujja mu buyinza
kale kati afuddemu ambasada kata anoonya binaisa akubeera pulezidenti. Kale bwe nandi awo mikwano yange n'abo ababe ewaffe Kigezi ne baga Kanyamba tagenda mu kkomera tujja kumugjayo. Bajja ekiro kya kabiri Major Karugaba yali mu magye ga Uganda naye ng'awummudde n'ajja ekiro n'abantu abalala yansanga mu Nairo n'agamba within 2 minutes we are leaving here. We are making you escape from Uganda. Obuntu bwagenda babukoma bangu babuteeka mu bisago within 2 minutes
bakufulumya
ekiro bantwala wantu sijja kwogera bwe naabawo ne bantwala ow'omwami William Ngalima mukwano gwange yalinayo Otiti bagamba tujja kuba nga bakwese wano okutuuka obunaatunga obulyo bw'okujja mu Uganda ogende Nairobi ojoining your family abroad mu exile.
That is the preparation for the second exile.
Second exile.
Okay, Professor.
Kale gezali nga saa 12 za macha. Karugaba Agustine Karugaba n'omukyala we baje mu motoka ne bagamba kati tukutwala ku border bali n'obwana butono bwe mbijjukira I cry.
Sorry. Okay.
Because
sorry about
they had
it,
the small children. They risked everything.
Omulungi atulaba tuli ne Professor George Wilson Kanyeihamba gwe tukyalidde olunaku olwaleero is a former minister, former justice,
former judge of the Supreme Court, former judge of the African Court on Human Rights. Yes.
Akoze ebintu bingi in line of law.
Don't worry about being emotional. I am very emotional when I go to these things. That's why I have written a book.
Yeah.
The latest one is Challenging Presidential Election Act. And I think if your audience wants a copy of it, I want every Ugandan to read it. Because we are under a government which we don't understand. It is messing up Uganda and nobody is doing something about it. So in this little booklet called Challenging Presidential Elections, I am urging that Uganda, you must make change of government. That this should be the last term of Museveni. He should tell us this term when he's leaving. Because next time he will be in his 80s. In his 80s, and I don't think Ugandans we can afford anymore with our younger generation, including you people, to see an 83 or 82-year-old candidate as won again NRM party. I don't want a coup. A coup is not very good for Uganda. But Museveni
you want a peaceful transition.
Must forced by Ugandans, by circumstances, to live in this term peacefully and the rest, because he has done enough good and enough bad for this country to remember him by.
Thank you, Professor. I don't know if you are in good state to take us back to the tale of your second exile.
We are going back. You say, I never lose track of what I have doing.
I was a bit worried.
No, don't,
okay.
don't get worried. And we can even talk until the cows come home. I will not get tired. Don't worry. Now,
Okay, now you are still telling us
yes.
Mr. Museveni is planning to bring Binaisa.
Yes. But
You-
I don't know whether it was his plan. But as I told you, the indications are that Rugumayo was actually a popular candidate to become the next president. But some of the elements said, if we don't put them in Uganda again, there will be riot, and we may not control
That
it.
is what people were
So
speculating.
Binaisa was a compromise, and he was acceptable. And it is true that our brothers in Uganda sometimes
Yeah.
don't see very far.
Is it
Because they had that certain that if you remove Rure, no work and no Rure, we shall go on strike everywhere. And that was the chorus in Kampala, in Masaka, everywhere. But when very cleverly the military commission put on Binaisa, the noise died down. They say, no, you know, Musajja waffe.
So-
Oyo mwana waffe tetufayo.
Bakakana.
Yeah. And so Paulo Mwanga and those who removed Rule were very clever. They knew if they replaced Rule with the Muganda, things will come down. And they did come down.
Okay.
And that is why Mwanga survived for the next year or so. But back to my exile. So one morning, Major Karugaba, the late Major Agustin Karugaba,
Yeah.
came with his wife. The wife is still alive, quite a very successful businesswoman in Kampala, owns one of the most fashionable houses in Kampala,
Oh, that's great.
known as Nina Interiors.
Oh.
She built it single-handed
Okay, that's good.
after her husband had passed away. And they came. They are my friends, been my friends since childhood. And he said, we have come to smuggle you out of Uganda. I said, but you have younger children. Their children were very young, about the same age as mine. I said, don't risk everything. Agustin Karugaba would not hear anything. He said, I am taking you out of Kampala. I didn't have anything to say no. So I went in their car, and Agustin said, wear this shirt. So I wear a shirt which was torn, apparently disguised as a houseboy. So I sat at the back, and Alice and Agustin drove. There were roadblocks everywhere in Uganda, but the one where we were stopped
Yeah.
was on the bridge, Ginger. You know, the electric power there.
Yeah. Chira Dam.
They were stopped by a policeman. He was with 3 others. Those stayed behind, and he came to look in the car. And don't worry, during this conversation,
Yeah.
if I shed tears, don't, because I tend to be emotional.
It's fine.
But I don't lose track of what I'm doing.
That's very great.
So he stopped that. He said, who are you? Agustin said, I'm Major Karugaba of the Uganda Army. This is my wife. And we are going doing shopping in Ginger. You know, there are shortages
Yeah.
in Kampala. He said, yes. Remember, I'm out at the back, disguised as the house boy.
House boy. Shamba boy.
So he said, who is that one? Agustin said, is our house boy. He looked at me again. He said, And to you, Kanyeihamba.
Are you sure?
Absolutely, this is the truth. What happened?
Oh my goodness.
I say, and to you, Kanyeihamba.
What was your response?
I knew the game was up. So, and to you, the Attorney General.
Oh my goodness.
So I said, yes, I am. Now, what happened the next time? You don't expect it from any Ugandan. He looks at me with tears in his eyes. And he said, we know what has happened. We don't like it. He saluted me, said, good luck where you are going.
Extra digest mugoba nsonga kwotulabira akadde kano nze Ibrahim Mukasa tuli ne Professor George Wilson Kanyeihamba abasinga go bayita Uncle George tumukyaliddeko makage emboozi ye mulimu ebitundu ebimenya omutima waliwo moments nga zikaabya era nkusaba yona gy'otulaba gy'osinzira okutulaba embeera Uganda gye yava n'abaami bano bye baayitamu bwe batuuse olunaku olwaleero bwe babinyumya nabo bo ng'abantu bibaleetera okuyungula amaziga era bakaaba abaliwo ebiseera ebyo balaga embeera yalimbi nnyo so tufunye omukisa okunyumyamukko naye atubuulire byayiseemu paati eno mu butuufu baali bamutolosa asobole okuba nga awaŋŋanguka obulamu busigalewo naye of course oyinza okubeera eyo ngolowooza abantu tebakumanyi but road block kwe baagwa awo ku mugga gwa Kiyiro oba Nile awo nga bayitamu bayite ejjinja beeyongereyo bagende Nairobi oba Kenya musirikale n'amugamba nkumanyi siggwe gundi embeera eyo emenya omutima Professor njagala osiigire bannayuganda ekifaananyi omusirikale yakuwa saluti oyambadde essaati ejjudde ebituli nga weerimbise mu kubeera house boy wa major naye nga oli attorney general oli minister naye olw'okwagala obulamu bakutaasa bakudduseewo omusirikale ono bwakubira saluti ng'akubuuza nti siggwe Kanyeihamba mu birowoozo byo mu mbeera eyo akadde ako wawulira otya era wamuddamu ki bannayuganda kye baagala okumanya Professor?
Long time ago, but as you can see, when I remember that incident, it upsets me because of the emotional happiness. That despite we have had the killers in Uganda, we have had leaders who don't care about life, who actually, whose policies lead to us, to many of our people to die. They are Uganda. I don't know his name. That's why I am a bit upset. I don't know where he came from. I never knew whether he was a Muganda, Mcholi,
that police officer.
The policeman.
Yeah.
So his colleagues asked, he said, who are those in Swahili? He said, no, these are just ordinary people going to get some provisions in Jinja. Nothing to worry about. He just moved to join his colleagues. I don't know whether he ever told them that he was Kanyeihamba or whatever, but I think it is a secret of his. So I had very, very heavy heart that in Uganda we have had the killers like Idi Amin, and we have people with the heart. Big heart. Like that policeman, I don't know. I never had the time to ask for his name, to take his telephone number or his rank.
Yeah.
So I can't thank him. And that is the same of what I'm going to tell you what happened.
Yeah.
When we were arrested with Kayiira.
The late Andrew Takome Kayiira.
Yes, on the border. I think that when I finish talking about this incident, our viewers will reflect that maybe God has kept me going to tell some of these stories.
Yeah.
So that they will never be repeated in this country. Because I don't know why, but Ugandans, we distort history. We don't want the right history to be written. If you read this book, The Blessing and the Job Who You Are,
Yeah.
and the other one, not written by me, but by admiring Ugandans. It is here. I'm going to give you a copy.
Thank you so much, Professor.
Kanyeihamba the Incredible.
Yeah.
If you read that,
Yeah.
and then you read Museveni's book,
That is the mustard seed?
Master the Seed, I think it has been revised. You don't think that we come from the same globe.
You mean they are totally different?
My name, Kanyeihamba,
Yeah.
does not appear, not even a footnote, in Museveni's book.
What is the matter?
You ask him. I've been asking for many years.
Yeah.
You reporters, why don't you ask Museveni? Because when we read the other books, he's the one who proposed you to replace Lule as the chairman of the NRM. You were only in the military commission. Kanyeihamba is the one who brought peace among the Muslim community when he chaired the international conference, and when you sent him to Old Kampala to disarm, literally, the Tabliks who had beheaded 4 police officers. And after he had done that, you called him your troubleshooter, and you elected him, although he's a Christian, to chair the international conference on solving the Uganda problems of Muslim, out of which he wrote a book called Reflections on Uganda Muslim Leadership Crisis. He and Kagonyera,
Professor Mondo Kagonyera.
yes,
Yeah.
helped you to diffuse the ranch saga, where the Obote government had given chunks of land to people, and they had established ranches there, and you see them without compensation. And you called Kanyeihamba troubleshooter. How come you don't mention his name at all in your mustard seed or in your publication? Museveni has been a friend of mine, by the way. There's one time when I was taken in a safe house, and he sent his own physician, his own doctor,
Yeah.
to examine how I was, and I ordered those people who were holding me to release me.
Who had arrested you?
The police. Have you seen any police here?
No.
So why haven't you asked? You are a retired judge. Controversial, they call me.
That is how the public terms you.
Yeah, terms me.
Yeah.
You solved it. Rather, you you got involved with the Muslims. And you are always very critical of some of the government policies, as these books prove. How come you don't have police guard? There's not a policeman here. But all judges of former courts and so forth are supposed to be guided by the police. But don't blame the government.
So,
the government has tried its best, but the police, one of them nearly strangled me here.
Are you sure?
Yes! There is a case against the police. I have been communicated with Ochola. I used to communicate.
The IGP.
At least Kaihura used to answer, but this one doesn't. Although he answered once, he told me he was coming here for lunch to discuss my problems. I bought wine and I cooked what they told me was his favorite food. Ochola never came.
What is that you had cooked?
Ochola,
What is that you had cooked for him?
I had cooked steak.
Wow.
He never came. And up to now, he has never explained or apologized why he never came for lunch.
Yet
And
you
the
had agreed.
reporters knew, but nobody has ever asked him or for him to make a statement and no comment or whatever. In Uganda, people are frightened out of their wits to ask ordinary, simple questions in case they are in trouble. This applies to everybody.
So, Professor, you want to tell the public that it is intentional for you not to have security here?
Yeah, it is. The then Prime Minister, Uganda, I complained that the process I have here, and I think their leaders do it deliberately. They send me untrained or thuggish policemen.
Unprofessional.
Yeah, unprofessional to harass me so they can exaggerate the story that Kanyeihamba is impossible. It's controversial.
It's untouchable.
Yes, yes. Because one of them, I can tell you the witnesses who were here. He didn't know they were here. He came and strangled me.
What had gone wrong?
One of his colleague called to him planning to attack, not me, to attack another member of the government on the phone.
So he had him planning.
Planning.
Yeah.
So he whispered to me. Then I told that man, please, my phone is not working properly. Can you give me your phone? So he gave it to me.
Yeah.
I confiscated it. I said, until we have heard this message, and the Prime Minister has heard what you are saying, I will not release it. Fortunately, two friends of mine visited me. I don't want to mention their names.
It is very fine.
Yes.
Don't disclose them.
Yeah. And we were in a bedroom. Because I already become in a wheelchair. So when they came, he hadn't come on duty. So he came on duty, and he told my housekeeper that tell the professor to give me my phone. I said, no, I can't until the Prime Minister has heard what you are saying. And when I was there with those two people.
Yeah. In your bedroom.
Yes. He came with mother's eyes. And although they were there, they can't even tell to you. He got hold of me. He said, give me my phone. Fortunately, I didn't have it in my pocket.
You had kept it somewhere?
Yeah, somewhere. And those people struggled with him to reach my neck. They are still alive. I gave the story to the relevant authorities, including the Prime Minister. They have done nothing to do anything. Then one of those policemen who arrested me here, he came to my room, broke the door, came and grabbed me. The police were here.
Watching.
So-called, he's gone. They claimed that he was their boss, so they couldn't interfere. He first broke that door. Very hard, it was very difficult to break. Noise could be heard. I raised an alarm everywhere. Nobody came to help me. Then I ran into the bathroom, having removed my shirt, so that he would fear, knowing I'm having, and then I put on the water.
Disguising that you're bathing.
When he broke the one going to my place, he broke the door going to the bathroom and entered. When they have half naked, they grabbed me there from the bathroom and took me in the car and injected me with some substance. I know him, I know his name. I complained to all the authorities of the government.
Nothing was done.
They did nothing. Eventually he was transferred his up country, but nothing ever happened to him.
Professor, someone out there would love to know all such ambiguous scenarios happening to you. Many people, when such things happen to them, many of them prepare themselves, get air tickets and go somewhere else and live such environment which seems to be contaminated somewhere, somehow.
No, I told you, let me finish the story about how Kaira and I got saved on the Kenya border, and then I'll tell you why. I have never, since I returned, I decided I am going to criticize my government, tell the truth, let the people of Uganda decide. I am now an old man.
Yeah.
I have served my country well.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I should escape from Uganda. I have suffered. If you read my autobiography, the blessings and the joy of who you are, you can cry. The jobs I have lost because I stand by integrity.
You stand for the truth.
And I insist on the truth.
Yeah.
I demand accountability. Before we finish out, I read something to you.
It's fine.
Which I hope
actually, it is in this book, The blessings and joy of being who you are.
It is in here.
Yeah.
And what I'm going to read is a small one here. It is here.
Let me help you.
I have written 33 books. 2 volume 1 and volume 2 of African jurisprudence are coming soon. Then I have written another one, which I think people will love, called The Gift of Memory. I remember everything that has ever happened to my life at the age of 82. People always...
You have a great memory.
Now,
Professor, before you read for us the autobiography, kindly take us to the incident of you and the late Andrew Takome Kayiira.
Yes.
Thank you.
Between 1974 or thereabouts and 79, when we removed Idi Amin, 2 communities of Uganda exiles were building up. One in America and one in Europe. Then the ones in Washington and Americas were led by Andrew Kayiira as a Ugandan exile. Those in the UK were led by Kanyeihamba, the man you are interviewing now.
The one on your camera currently?
Yes.
Thank you, Professor.
Then in 1977, I think, 77, Idi Amin did a terrible thing. He killed the Archbishop of Uganda,
Janan Lumu.
the womb,
Yeah.
and the Minister of Internal Affairs, I think, and another Christian. And those of us who were in the UK,
Yeah.
including the late Ambassador Paul Otiti and Mr. Kwesi, the late Tom and Ambassador Tumsange and the Reverend Danny Kajumba, among others, we became public and denounced Idi Amin after he had killed.
From UK, where you are?
Yes.
Okay.
And we assembled in London, and we founded what came to be known later as the Uganda Group of Human Rights. And I became its chairman. I was elected its chairman. Uganda Group for Human Rights.
Yeah.
Naye obunako obwo nanka ebibyo maama na taata baali nga baafudde.
Abakuzaala.
Naturally tebaaliwo. Ne my brother naye yaabula. Story njogera bwano. Baali bamweta Yoweri. Mutabani wange bamweta Yoweri kubanga we named him after my late brother who disappeared forever. We never know what happened.
Mu Luganda bagamba wamubbulamu.
Aha, kyekyo. Kale Amin had killed the Archbishop. I came public against him. He heard I was the chairman
of the Uganda Group of Human Rights.
Yes. Bitterly opposed to Aminism, as I am bitterly opposed to what is happening in the country today. Although I was part of the founders of the movement. Now, so somebody called me from Nairobi. You know, these regimes are half ignorant of what they are talking about. Just as Museveni recently said, Senator Mukyagulanye massively rigged the election of 2021. Which is a lie.
Are you sure it is a lie?
It is a lie.
Okay.
How do you are being harassed, hunted as an animal during the elections.
Yeah.
You are seen being detained in a car in a town where you have gone to talk to people. People who have been trying to assemble to talk to you, there are guns waiting with the soldiers and the army officers to shoot those people who come to listen to you. Tell me, how do you massively rig the election under those conditions?
Okay.
So in my little book you have seen, Challenging Presidential Election.
Yeah, yeah.
I said, where a president begins to lie, or to say, I don't believe in the Constitution, then he has forfeited the right to govern the country. It's as simple as that. And that's me. I am saying it.
You said you only fear God.
Only God.
Okay.
And that is why I have survived the longest, more than the other.
Yeah.
I have never. In fact, I fear small people. A person like Kahindo Tafiri who owes me money, I fear him a bit. But I have never feared Museveni. Because my knowledge of him is different from many other Ugandan people. He has messed up governance. He is self-opinionated most of the time. And recently he adopted a new name, he who cannot be advised.
That is
Tibuhabura. Tibuhabura. He who never receives the advice.
You want to tell me that he didn't have that name previously?
No, well, I don't know about him, what he says, obviously. But the late father of Winnie Byanyima, Mr. Byanyima, who knows Museveni more than most of us, said he used to have that name.
Oh, so it's not a new name?
Yeah, I think so. It is his
Professor, you were still telling us the story about Ugandans in Washington and Ugandans in the UK.
So I was trying to get to Andrew Kaira.
Yeah.
Anybody writing the Amin story, his removal and the coming into power of NRM, and doesn't mention Kanyeihamba or Andrew Kaira, is distorting history.
It's distorting information.
Yes, because I'm going to tell you. I was a lecturer, a senior lecturer actually, senior lecturer at Cardiff University in Wales. When not Andrew Kaira, but the ambassador, they call them high commissioners.
Yeah.
The Tanzania commissioner said he had a message for me from Mwalimu.
Julius Nyerere.
He said they had identified Andrew Kaira as leader of the Uganda refugee community in USA, and me as leader of the Uganda exile community in the UK.
Yeah.
And he would like to see both of us together. So he summoned Andrew to London. And me from Cardiff to London, we met him in a hotel in London. This is after we had formed the Uganda Group for Human Rights.
Yeah.
So he said they would like to assist Ugandans get rid of Idi Amin.
Yeah.
You remember Idi Amin had attacked Kagera Silent. Then we said, how can we help? He said, Ugandans in Washington and London respectively respect you both. You are their leaders. And we also have contacted people who are anti-Amin in Dar es Salaam.
Yeah.
And we want you to be the springboard for removing Idi Amin. We talked about the mechanics.
That is the message you got from Julius Mwalimu.
Yes.
Nyerere.
Through his ambassador, High Commission in London. Andrew came and we stayed together. After that meeting, he came with me, and he stayed in a hotel near me in Cardiff.
That is in Wales.
Yes. And then we all agreed that we would meet in Nairobi to plan a unity conference of all Ugandans in exile. We met in Nairobi.
Yeah.
We were assisted, among others, by the late Bishop Chivenjeri, who gave us ticket.
Yeah.
And when we met there, the idea came up. I don't think Andrew attended that meeting. No, he did. Andrew attended this meeting. While we were meeting in Nairobi, rumor came in our meeting that we were going to be arrested by the Kenya police.
Someone whispered to you?
Yes. That we should scatter and disband the meeting because we were going to be arrested by Kenyans who would hand us over
to the Ugandan government.
To the Uganda government. So we ran in different directions.
So the meeting was called off?
Yes, but later we were called one by phone to meet at Kabgejere's place at Nairobi University, where he was in exile teaching there. He was not part of the original meeting, although these days he claims he's one who held that meeting.
So he tells a lie.
He's telling a lie. But he hosted us. Obviously risky because he was also in exile.
Yeah.
Then while we were there, even Andrew was there, we formed the Credentials Committee, which included Kanyeihamba, Andrew Kaira,
yeah,
I think John Magezi, the late John Magezi, Yash Tandon, Dr. Sinabudia, among others.
Yeah.
And their mission was to plan for Moshi. Arusha.
Yeah.
In Tanzanians, in accordance with what Andrew and I had agreed with the Mwalimu and his ambassador, which we want to read in Mustard Seed. It's not there. Museveni wipes out that history. So it's very dramatic. And in my book here, I talk about Moshi. So I don't want to go into greater detail.
Yeah.
Be that as it may, when we met, we were about 30 or so different groups: political, social, NGOs. Mine was an NGO, non-political, or rather political, but non-military. Kaira's, I think, was similar. So each of these groups were represented at Moshi. Also, we had invited the Uganda groups, rather the Uganda political parties. So UPC was represented. I remember the Conservative Party was represented by an ambassador who was a conservative. So
the aim of the Moshi Arusha meeting was to create peace talks.
No.
What was the aim?
To plan for the removal
of Amin.
Of Idi Amin.
Okay.
No, we didn't mince words. How do we fight against Idi Amin and remove him? And Tanzania was even more vocal because he had attacked Tanzania.
So Tanzania gave you full support?
Full support, and the military support, financial support, everything, because they were more afraid of Amin than we were, having attacked their soil.
Okay.
And so some of the things happened there. I have told you that Professor Tandon, Yash, he's a Ugandan, born I think in Soroti. His father must have had a duka there. He's pure and simple Ugandan, although he's of Indian origin. I remember an incident. UPC opposed the Moshi meeting. But when Tanzania insisted on the meeting taking place, it wanted to hijack the meeting. And the way they want to use it, they knew there were many UPC in exile in East Africa and especially in Tanzania. So for them, they wanted that whoever is a Ugandan should attend. If we had said an individual Ugandan can attend, we would have been overswamped by UPC.
Because they had a big number.
A bigger number.
Yeah.
So we cleverly said no.
We should have representatives.
Each recognized political party in the group shall be represented by only 2 people. They should choose to present with the 2 observers. Mine was recognized as a group, NGO, and I went with the late Sebagereka as my other representative, and Ambassador Otiti became ambassador later, and I forget the other one. There were 2 as observers.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. Now, when we were determining who should attend Moshi, we go back to Moshi that day.
Yeah.
Tandon was also one of the members of our committee, credential committee. And UPC was represented among others by the former ambassador Shafiq Al-Rain. And I remember him shouting.
In the meeting?
And everybody laughed. I'll tell you why they laughed. When he was very angry as a UPC diehard, and then he saw Tandon saying, these are credentials of people who are coming, so and so. Then Shafiq Al-Rain said, who is this Indian? to be
in the meeting?
To be ordered, yes. No, as at the gate.
Yeah.
As we were sorting out who should enter.
Yeah.
Who is this Indian to be ordering Ugandans about? And then we laughed because he also was of Indian origin. but it shows you that first of all, Ugandans, we accept everybody. We don't have
so
discrimination.
Yeah.
For us, we regarded them. Tandon, he became part of the Gang of 4. Sharif was a very good representative of UPC, DP, although I didn't agree with him. And he had given us trouble as a Uganda group for human rights because he was the High Commissioner in London at the time we formed and continued. But let me go back to Kaira. So we went to Moshi. I was always with Kaira. We even stayed in the same hotel, same bedroom. We had 2 beds. Ever since he joined me in Cardiff from Washington.
Yeah.
And we met the Tanzanian envoy. Then at Moshi, I was elected and drafted the Moshi Constitution.
Okay.
It's very, very important to remember that.
Yeah.
And I drafted it together with the late Stephen Aliko, who was representing the UPC, Grace Vinjira, they were members of my committee, John Magezi, and I believe Fred Sempigwe, I can't remember, but I think he was there also. We finished our meeting late in the evening, and we were directed to produce a constitution the following day at 11, which we did. We worked all night.
Okay.
That is how we slaved for this country, my friend. We never slept. Having done that, there was a general consensus that Arule would be the chairman of the UNLF, the party we set up.
Yeah.
Uganda National Liberation Front. There was no other candidate inside.
Yeah.
So when we finished our constitution and adopted it, we adjourned for the following day to elect our bureau. And everybody knew Lule would be elected chairman. So we were relaxed. Tanzania wanted Lule. They had the password around the delegations that we shall only support you if Lule is the chairman. So there was relaxation. Everybody knew what
you
was
were relaxed.
Yes. So
Just preparing for another day to announce.
So we were among those who are observers were Bishop Festus Chivenjeri, whose leanings were on the NRM, and the former Archbishop of Uganda, of course, somebody of course, from the East, who was a fanatical supporter of UPC. Unknown to us, you see what happened. So on the day we were going to elect our officials,
to make the general announcement.
And we all expected that Lule would be announced unopposed by acclamation, and then we would elect other members of the bureau who would become ministers eventually in the UNLF government. We came up dressed in our ties and almost a celebration day. And
just waiting for the good news.
Bishop Chivenjeri came in his ordinary clothes, not in bishop. But
just like
but of course, I forget. He became archbishop during Obote's time. He was from the east, but I think he's Okoti, of course. His name is like that. He came dressed like a bishop. Scarlet and his cap, and really as if he was going to a religious ceremony. So we sat in that conference. Then we were joined by Paul Mawanga in a military uniform. I think he had either he was a general or something, can't remember. This surprised us, but we said people are really dressed for this meeting because it is crucial.
Everyone was prepared for the meeting.
Yes, it's crucial. And we all sat there. By that time, we had already ditched Kavejeri. Kavejeri, remember, he hosted us in Nairobi. So we had, by courtesy, made him chairman of the Credential Committee.
Yeah.
But you look in my book, he failed us. He was very academic. He didn't know the politics that we were playing. So halfway when he was addressing us in one confrontation with the UPC, Rugumayo put up his hand and said, "A point of order, Mr. Chairman." He took it to Kabir. He said, "Yes, I propose that you be replaced with Nyanzi." And we all said, "Yes."
What was his response?
He just left the chair because you saw the hands up against him. And he don't know when we...
So you followed democracy?
Yes, he said, where did they all agree that I should not be chairman?
So democracy was at work?
Yes, and that resolution, we engineered Dr. Rugumayo, Dr. Tandon, and myself were the one who brought that. Said no, we are not going to get anywhere. The Tanzania were very frustrated. Kabwejiri was not leading us anywhere. But
so you dropped him.
But Nyanzi was in the audience.
Yeah.
One of the finest civil servants Uganda has ever had. Remember at one time he had run the companies under UDC, Uganda Development Corporation, and he was extremely brilliant.
Wow, great.
So we went outside a few minutes. He said, let us put there Nyanzi. Kabwejiri has failed us. So
that is in Nairobi.
Yes.
Yeah.
So while Kabwejiri argued with the UPC man, very academically, and Kabwejiri was making good points, but all academic, and so they were going. So Rugamwa put I say, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, point of order, yes. I wanted to, I said, let this meeting resolve that you be replaced, Nyanzi should replace you as chairman. Said, yes! And we all
Was Nyanzi in the meeting?
Nyanzi was not there. So he came, but he was around the corner. We had consulted him and said he would accept. So he came and took over the chair. And after that, the president went very, like a clockwork. Very, very good.
Professor, take us to the Moshi Arusha meeting where everyone was waiting for the good news of choosing
Rude.
Yeah.
So, I told you, Bishop Okos, you'll get his name correctly, but I think I'm not correct that he's Okos.
Yeah.
He had now an Okos, Obo, whatever. Anyhow, so Nyanzi now is in the chair. So he said, now I call for nominations. We read out the post chairman, minister, rather chairman of the commission for finance, who would be minister of finance, military or whatever. So he said the